Hello everyone, this video is going to be a short discussion about a topic I've wanted to talk about for a while now, mapping out current events. Maps are powerful tools that give people information, and like any informative tool can be simply incorrect, or distorted, or manipulated. Sometimes it's because the mapmaker is incompetent or made a mistake, but other times it's on purpose for political or propagandic reasons. But like anything related to perspective, people have different ideas on what comes off as mapaganda. And in the world where liking waffles makes some people assume you must hate pancakes, a lot of accusations go flying around. In the world of history and mapping, this is nothing new and has been around since I started all the way back in 2009, but recently a new set of comments has gotten my attention. While I recently made a map video about the history of OPEC, I did my typical current practice of using red borders to show disputed borders and unrecognized countries. That meant I showed the 2022 Russian annexation of southeastern Ukraine with this red border, while still keeping the original border there. Now, you would think anyone looking at this would go, oh, this border's in red, which means it's not the same status as this border in black, and therefore it's not the same. I thought so too. However, I got a few comments complaining that by showing these borders at all, I was apparently showing Russian bias and supporting their invasion of Ukraine. Now, firstly, just to get this out of the way, no, I don't support Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and I never have. I never support one country invading another over nationalistic fervor, and I certainly never support a despot like Putin. I want Ukraine to keep their territorial integrity, and while I understand war is complicated and it's never a total good versus evil thing, I don't think it's that complicated to understand invading neighbors bad, self-defense good. Now, in the case of this OPEC video, this wasn't even the first time that this had been brought up, as any time I showed a red-bordered Russian annexation of Ukraine or Crimea, or the Donetsk and Luhansk breakaway republics in a video, I would get a few comments saying a variation of the same thing. One time, someone ripped screenshots from my time zone map videos and made a graphic to share on Reddit. Since red was one of the time zone colors, I used dotted lines for disputed and unrecognized borders that time. Since I showed a different time zone being imposed on Russian-occupied areas of Ukraine, there were a few comments once again thinking I'm pro-Russia. Overall, there seems to be a set of people who believe that any acknowledgement of the Russian occupation or attempted annexation of southeastern Ukraine on a map is pro-Russian propaganda. Now, I could understand that being the case if I showed the annexation as a normal border like all the others and eliminated the original border contradicting it. Like if I said, hey, here's a map of Russia and I just showed southeastern Ukraine as a part of Russia without any indication that it's disputed, yes, that would be pro-Russian propaganda. But whenever I show it, the border is clearly marked differently. Showing red or dotted lines for disputed borders has been a common practice in mapmaking for decades and is used by groups like National Geographic all the time. I often include disputed and unrecognized borders in my video because I want to acknowledge the ongoing geopolitical events the same way I would with historical ones. Let's use this same logic for Europe in 1939. Wait a minute. Why are Czechoslovakia and Poland still here? Weren't they all partitioned and annexed by Germany in 1939? Well, why would I want to give legitimacy to the German invasions of Central Europe? I don't support them, so I'm not going to show it. See the issue here? If I didn't show every invasion or attempted annexation I didn't personally agree with on my maps, Europe would basically look the exact same between 1939 and 1945 without any indication of the chaotic changes during World War II. No one who depicts Greater Germany on a wartime map of Europe is going to be accused to secretly recognizing Greater Germany. From my perspective, it's worse to pretend the ongoing war in Ukraine isn't happening. That time zone video, for example, I am acknowledging that Russian forces in Ukraine are imposing their time zone over occupied areas as a part of their military occupation, the same way I showed how Germany did the same thing during World War II. Omitting that information, in my view, is effectively lying. And going, there is no war in Bosnia say on my maps doesn't really help anything. Now, some videos of mine might only show the disputed annexation borders but no front lines, and that's usually dependent on the type of video. In the case of the OPEC video, it's about nations having membership of OPEC, and if I showed the front lines of one war, I'd have to show them all since Russia isn't the only nation involved here that had a war or internal insurgency of some kind going on, and then the map would be too complicated, people would be distracted, it would be bad readability, etc. Not to mention it's a lot of extra work. But a border change in the form of annexation is something I can show, and I still colored it red, meaning it's disputed and therefore not seen as legitimate. I don't want to be mean, but guys, learn some basic map reading comprehension. Granted, in some videos I don't always indicate red equals disputed, and maybe that's my fault for assuming it would be common sense for people to realize red equals different than black. Regardless though, I thought it was interesting enough of a discussion to bring up. So tell me, what do you think in the comments? Is it better for maps to acknowledge ongoing wars and geopolitical disputes, or should there be limits? Speaking of propaganda, the channel's merch store now has stickers and magnets you can buy. So if you want a magnet of the channel mascot on your fridge, like a propaganda portrait, now you can get one in either Pickelhaube or crown form. Or maybe you want an Aztec Codex version of the mascot as a sticker on your laptop. Either way, every purchase helps support the channel to keep it going, so thank you.